jìnnà sí wọn bí sọmọ sílẹ̀ o ara ló ń ta wọn ṣe mọ́ o náà bá sunkún sójú bẹ̀rẹ̀ má ti fi gbé sọ kó fẹ́ yẹ ẹyẹ kó lọ ìgbé sọnù sígbó wọn dúró títí ọwọ́ wọn ò tó ìṣó máa ṣe ta ní kókó ṣòkòtò tí olókùn ó dá kìtìyàn ó dórí àwọn lọ́tẹ̀ o. Ṣí mi lọ́nà o, mo tẹ́rí bá fàdà àgbà o, àgbà ẹ̀ foríjì ni, ojoojúmọ́ ni mo ń pọ́n wọn lé, mo ń ṣèyá sí àwọn àgbà o, mi ò fojú tí rìn wọn láyé, ọmọdé ẹ̀ má fàgbà ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́, torí omi kọ́ tó yọ ọ̀la ni, ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o, màmá ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Máa ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà o. Ọmọdé ń bọ̀ wá dàgbà. Bọ́lájú kòkòrò bá pẹ̀ràn nígbó tó bá fúnra ẹ̀pín ló dára jù o. Kọ̀wé mi á jẹ́ dàgbà o. Èyí mo rí màrò ẹ̀ka gbogbo náà ní ilé ayé. Sùúrù ní ṣẹ́gun ohun gbogbo. Ẹ má ṣèké mo ní ẹ má dalẹ̀. Forí orí kìlọ̀ ló jẹ́ ẹ̀yin forí wọ́rí yóò ṣàbàmọ́ àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé o nílé ayé o àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé dẹ́bìtọ̀ rẹ̀ àtàrà ilé o àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́ láyé àwa ò ní ṣàbàmọ́. Ṣòkòtò wọn múra wọn sáré kẹrù sọkọ o àyànmọ́ ògbóògùn o wọn ò béèrè lọ́wọ́ orí orí lọmọ mẹ́wàá lọ ìyàwó ohun tí ẹ wá lọ sí Ṣòkòtò ohun rẹ lápò Ṣòkòtò mo sọ àkúnlẹ̀yàn ọmọ ẹ̀dá láyé kò lè yí padà mo ń tẹnu mọ́ o olórí làlá bàrò orí làlá bàrò olórí mi níjà o. Olórí lálàbàrò. Lálàbàrò. Olórí lálàbàrò. Oríjà jogun ìkànnì wọn rí má fi wá fáyé mu nílé ayé wa o. Olúwa àgbẹ̀ wa níyà o. Àmì nílé ayé wa. Ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ọ̀tá kọ́ ni wá. Ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ọ̀tá kọ́ lẹ́yìn. Ṣọ́wa nínú àpamọ́ kìnìún. Ejò olóró àkékè ṣọ́wa nínú ìdàgìrì ayé dáàbò ẹ̀bùn wá fi ṣọ́rẹ́ ṣọ́wa o mo sádìyọ bàbá lókè mo sádìyọ bàbá lókè o mo sádìyọ bàbá lókè mo máa sádìyọ bàbá lókè o mo sádìyọ bàbá lókè o Olúwa gbé wa níjà o mo sádìyọ bàbá lókè o kó má fi wá sílẹ̀ o. Olúwa má fi wá sílẹ̀ o. Mo sádìyọ bàbá lókè o.
Jẹ́ pupa, ọ̀rọ̀ bọ̀, nípa, school daughter, bestie, ṣáà make sure kò lo rọ́bà sẹ́.
Kwanci wani kai ta nan mu kwanci wani kai ta nan mu kwanci wani kai in Buhari is dead and buried in a shallow grave in Saudi Arabia.
Okay now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this dance you're about to see now is called Tinubu dance. Are you ready to give me that dance? Oh yeah, everybody go say Tinubu dance. We go the dance. 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 Tinubu dance. Tinubu dance. Give me the dance. Tinubu dance. Give me the dance. Tinubu dance. Give me the dance. Tinubu dance. Oh yeah, Baba dance. Oh yeah, Baba dance. Say, oh yeah, Baba dance. Wait, oh yeah, Baba dance.
Oh yeah, arrangement for orin àyájọ́ ni, orin àyájọ́ ni. Wọ́n dìde, wọ́n pínlẹ̀ ogun. Oyin tí mo rí ká bá mi wá yẹn dà, ká ní kó bá mi wá.
I don't suffer, no be small. But say I get sense. Poverty no good at all. Now it make I join this business. For one night, no be cheap. It's just again, everybody be there. If anybody follow Mugu, my brother, chopper. National airport, National stadium, you know.
And there it is right there. So there it is right there. You be the Mugun and he is the master. He may be the master of you. He's certainly no master of mine. I have no master. I only have a God. So there it is right there. Good day to you. Good to be in your company. All that's the second installment on a two-part now. A two-session day. It's not a two-part or anything, no, because it's a totally different session from the one we had around about lunchtime thereabout. Good day to you. Good to be in your company. All that. Good day to you. Good to be in your company. And how are you? Hope you've had a gloriously wonderful day, crescendoing into yet another session. That friendly neighborhood, or you are laughing man. One man went to mow. So one man went to mow. The eagle lands again. The eagle lands as he always lands, hoping that he's meeting you in good health. So good day to you. The protocol remains the same. Click on the like button, just as I invite you to do so. Do so. Click on the like button. Like now. Click on the like button. Do it now. Do it now. Subscribe also if you haven't already. Do it now. Do it now. If you've ever had cause to unsubscribe, then I'm giving you all of the reasons to resubscribe. The narrative might not change, but there's consistency to it. You know where the politics stands? We stand for the betterment of Nigeria. So the one thing that this platform stands for is the betterment of Nigeria. And anything that advances that country, we make it a point to celebrate it. So I forget the partisanship and all of that. It's only the advancement of that country that agitates this space. So if you are a lover of Nigeria, then this should be your home platform. So click on like and then subsequently click on subscribe. If you want to come and join me on the screen, there's a hyperlink that says StreamYard. If you click on that, it brings you into a studio space. As soon as I finished laying out the body of the talking points, I will not like or subscribe. That is Gift or Rufai. I love you too, my brother. Good to have you here. Maybe you come on the screen and then come and tell us. Come on the screen and tell us all of the reasons why you detest the platform so much. It's always that they call it feedback. So yes, like, share, subscribe. Click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard if you want to come and join me on the screen. Share the links just as widely as you possibly can, and then of course super chat to us to stream. Just as Nigerian is encouraging you in the comment section there, really we should be seeing a stream of dollar signs already on the platform now. So like, share, subscribe, click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard, super chats to us to stream, all of those things. So do all of those things. Let's just get started. And by the way, come into the studio because we don't have an abundance of news items. So we're going to rattle through them fairly quickly. And then, of course, if there's a conversation to be had, then we go on then and have that conversation. So now let's start it off and we kick it off with this one. So this is just a statistical data. You know, somebody was actually contending that word with me on TikTok a couple of days ago. I said data and he was correcting me to say data. So you say tomatoes, I say tomatoes. It's still the same thing. If I say it's data, then it has to be data because I have an expansive and a supreme grasp of language. So now, one of the go-to spaces, they say, don't let facts get in the way of a good storyline or a good story. Have you ever heard that phrase before? That expression, don't let facts get in the way of a good story. So that seems to be very much the politicking of the opposition politics in Nigeria. They hold no truck with anything fact or verifiable. They just throw mud and then they hope that it'll stick. And one of their go-to spaces, by the way, is to refer to Nigeria as the poverty capital of the world. So that's very good for the headlines and the hits and to tug at people's emotions, but that is nowhere near the fact. Nigeria is as far and as removed from the poverty capital of the world as is humanly possible. Nigeria is a far distance and clear and over the hills and far away from the poverty capital of the world. So we have data. This is a global statistics presenting this. It says extreme poverty by country. And what do they describe as extreme poverty? These are people living under $3 a day. So that constitutes then extreme poverty. But do you know where that extreme poverty is where it's most pungent, where they're feeling the burden of it the most, is actually in the richest country on the planet. The richest country on the planet is actually the poverty capital of the world. Do you know the richest country on the planet? It's not Luxembourg or some. Is it or Liechtenstein? I think Liechtenstein is what people actually say is the richest country in the world, but it is actually not. Congo is the richest country in the world and is also the poverty capital of the world. So extreme poverty by country, and they define poverty as people living under $3 a day. So in Congo, it says share of population living under $3 per day. 85% of the Congolese live in poverty. The Mozambicans, 82%, Malawi 75%, Burundi 74%, Zambia, CAF, I'm not quite sure, it's a Central African Republic, Niger, Uganda. It's actually curious that Congo will be a lot poorer than Niger. I've always just made the lazy assumption that Niger Republic was the poorest country in the world, or not so much the poorest, but the most poverty-stricken country in the world, but alas not. So the country most impoverished, with 85% of its population living under $3 a day, Democratic Republic of Congo, followed very closely by Mozambique, Malawi, Burundi, Zambia. Is all African countries, by the way, as you probably would have made the assumption. So DRC, Mozambique, Malawi, Burundi, Zambia, Central African Republic, Niger, Uganda, Zimbabwe, nearly 50% nearly 50% of Zimbabweans are living under $3 a day. That's 49.2%. And by the way, I was going to say that the topmost countries are sub-Saharan. Yes, they are sub-Saharan African countries, of course. Yes. But they're not West African countries. I thought most of them would be West African countries, but they are Southern and Eastern African countries mainly. So Congo, certainly, I think that's an East African country you categorize. Mozambique is a Southern African country, as you would suggest. Malawi, Burundi, Zambia, certainly, Central African Republic, but Niger, very much a West African country. Uganda follows Niger. Zimbabwe, as I said, nearly 50%. It says in sub-Saharan Africa, 558 million people live in extreme poverty, as the region faces an average rate of 45.5%. So in sub-Saharan Africa, nearly half the population of that subcontinent lives lives by what they define by the global definition, because $3 a day is no money. Or how much is that? How much is that in naira? That would be what? Is it 1.5? So that would be 4,500 naira per day. If you are using that as a metric, actually, you want to say that Nigerians are living in poverty too. If it's $3 a day, I'm not quite sure. No, I think Nigerians are actually living above $3 a day. But it goes on. Zimbabwe, 49.2%. Kenya, 46.4%. Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Chad, Ethiopia, which erstwhile was the poorest country, most poverty-stricken country, when they were even doing global canvassing for money. So they've improved, but not sufficiently enough. 38.6% of that country very much still in poverty. Mali, 36.1%, and then Togo, 34%. Togo, which is right next door to us, 34.7%. Benin Republic, who we just spanked in our football 4-0, So maybe they were too hungry because 27.2% of that country lives in poverty. Cameroon, and I've got a clip to show you about Cameroon in a moment, but which will explain why they're in poverty. Cameroon, 26.7%. Kosovo, which is the first European country to make the list, 25% of that country lives in poverty, less than $3 a day living in Europe. Can you imagine that? Gambia, 22%. Cote d'Ivoire, 20.9%. Vanuatu. I'm not quite sure where that country is. Vanuatu. That's Vanuatu. Vanuatu. Vanuatu is probably how I've chosen to pronounce it. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but at least, but certainly 19% of that country, 19.5 in poverty. Senegal, 17.9. Honduras, I think that's in South America somewhere. That's 17%. Syria, 16.5. Yeah, some of the war going on there might well be some of the reasons for that. The Philippines, 11.5. Mauritania, 10.2. Guatemala, 9.7. Equatorial Guinea, 8.8. Bangladesh, 8%. So those are the poverty capitals of the world. I've given you the full list, of course, and Nigeria not getting a mention. And of course, very quickly, the obedient go under the comment section. This list is not correct, Sha. Because where is Nigeria? Where is Nigeria? This is stupid. I suspect global statistics nowadays. So suddenly they are calling to credibility the platform presenting it. These countries possesses everything required to thrive. Intelligence, labor, natural wealth, and cultural resilience. Yet the promise of collective advancement remains unfulfilled. Why? Because the Commonwealth has been hijacked. So it goes on and on. So this one was trying to show off somewhat of an education, but those are the most impoverished countries in the world, and Nigeria nowhere near that list. So I suspect that the obedience space will probably go and start to attack that space. So I suspect the obedience space will certainly go and attack that space. Here's another one that will be a bitter pill for the obedience to swallow. 2027 National Assembly proposes November 2026 for presidential governorship election. So that's the proposal, and that's passing through Parliament now. So the elections might well come a lot quicker than we anticipated. 2027, NAS proposes November 2026 for presidential governorship election. So what is the rationale, you ask? Let's see if we can find out. Pardon me. Ahead of the 2027 general elections, the National Assembly has proposed that the presidential and governorship, let's do that entirely all over again. Ahead of the 2027 general elections, the National Assembly has proposed that presidential and governorship elections be conducted in November 2026 instead of the usual February or March of the election year. So with that proposal then, does that not then cut short TINUBU'S administration by 3 months? You know, because if they do the elections and he gets sworn in around about January, then he has to hand over on that very day that he gets sworn in, because his tenure actually ends on that particular day. So it's actually even as an act of self-harm for them to be proposing that. Ahead of the 2027 general elections, the National Assembly has proposed that presidential and governorship elections be conducted in November 2026 instead of the usual February or March of the election year. The proposal is contained in the draft amendments to the Electoral Act 2022, which were discussed on Monday during a one-day public hearing held by the Joint Committee on Electoral Matters, chaired by Senator Simon Lalong, APC Plateau South. According to Section 4 Sub 7 of the proposed amendment, elections into the office of the president and governor of a state should be held not later than 185 days before the expiration of the term of office of the last holder of the office. So now, um, what does that even mean? How does that answer any of the questions from the last cycle of election? Because I thought in the last cycle of elections anyway, they were complaining that the window between the election and the swearing in was too short for all legal matters to be fully trashed out. So maybe this is seeking to answer that. Let's take it from top again. Actually, 2026 presidential uh, National Assembly proposes November 2026 for presidential and governorship elections. Ahead of the 2027 general elections, the National Assembly has proposed that presidential and governorship elections be conducted in November 2026 instead of the usual February or March of the election year. The proposal was contained in the draft amendment of the Electoral Act 2022, which were discussed on Monday during a one-day public hearing held by the Joint Committee on Electoral Matters, chaired by Senator Simon Lalong, APC Plateau South. And by the way, let's start seeing the colors of supercharts coming in. According to Section 4, Subsection 7 of the proposed amendment, elections into the office of President and Governor of a state shall be held not later than 185 days before the expiration of the term of office of the last holder of the office, with the expiration of the current administration fixed for May 29, 2027. This means that the next presidential and governorship elections would take place around November 2026, as 185 days before May 2029 falls within that month. Similarly, the proposal for federal and state legislative elections under Section 4 Sub 5 states that such polls shall be held not later than 185 days before the date on which each of the houses stand dissolved. Lawmakers say the amendment aims to allow sufficient time for resolution of electoral disputes before the winner is sworn in. So yeah, I did think that it was actually in response to the complaint that there wasn't sufficient enough time for all of the legal issues to be trashed out. Lawmakers say the amendment aims to allow sufficient time for the resolution of election disputes before winners are sworn in. Explaining further, Chairman of the House Committee on Electoral Matters, Honorable Adebayo Balogun, said the amendment would help prevent situations where court cases linger after winners assume office. We are proposing, so I think we get the gist of that. So we get the gist of that. Let's go on from that to the next one. I somewhat concur with that, but let's go on to this. So the spill outs, the controversies around that presidential pardon by Tinubu is still very much raging. And here is Atiku's response. Tinubu's presidential pardon emboldens criminality. Atiku. So this narrative, a lot of this narrative actually it wraps around the pardoning of Mariam Sanda. Do you remember Mariam Sanda, the lady that pied her husband? So a lot of the controversy around that, it actually wraps around the narrative of Mariam Sanda. Tinubu's presidential pardon emboldens criminality. This is Atiku Abubakar. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has condemned President Bola Tinubu's latest use of the presidential pardon, describing it as a reckless act that undermines justice and accountability. In a statement posted on his X handle, Atiku said the presidential prerogative of mercy was meant to balance justice with compassion, not trivialize criminality. He faulted the most recent round of pardons, saying it has reduced the process to a mere triviality. President Tinubu had on Thursday granted clemency to 175 convicts and former convicts, including General Maman Vatsa, Major General Akubo, Professor Magaji Gaba, Mariam Sanda, Ken Sarowiwa, and other members of the Ogoni Eight. According to a statement from the presidency, the decision followed recommendations by the Presidential Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy, chaired by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi SAN. The clemency also covered persons convicted of serious crimes such as homicide, illegal mining, and fraud. Reacting, article condemned the inclusion of such offenders, arguing that it undermines public confidence in the criminal justice system and, in his words, emboldens criminality. So, I'm not quite sure how much I endorse. I endorse. I agree with the pardoning of Mariam Sanda. I agree with that because there are extenuating circumstances, and that one more a crime of passion and elements of self-defense. So I agree with that, but I don't agree with pardoning fraudsters and illegal miners unless there were extenuating circumstances there as well, you know. But as a broad general principle, I don't agree with, especially illegal minors. Why would you pardon them? The clemency also covered persons convicted of serious crimes such as homicide, illegal mining, and fraud. Reacting, article condemns the inclusion of such offenders, arguing that it undermined public confidence in the criminal justice system and, in his words, emboldens criminality. He maintained that the exercise of clemency should never become an accomplice to crime or erode the foundations of justice. Ordinarily, the power of presidential pardon is a solemn uh, uh, prerogative, a moral and constitutional instrument designed to temper justice with mercy and underscore the humanity of the state. Article stated. I'm not sure that these are Article's words. He's a well-educated man, by the way. Article has a master's from, is it Cambridge? But I don't think that his grammar quite extends to the crafting of words in this particular manner. This is more somebody. This statement right here, this paragraph right here, it hints at somebody with a legal training and a good grasp of language. It's not a politician's language. Ordinarily, the power of presidential pardon is a solemn prerogative, a moral and constitutional instrument designed to temper justice with mercy and underscore the humanity of the state. Article stated, when properly exercised, it elevates justice and strengthens public faith in governance. Regrettably, the latest pardon issued by the President Tinubu administration has done the very opposite. The decision to extend clemency to individuals convicted of grave crime such as drug trafficking, kidnapping, murder, and corruption not only diminishes the sanctity of justice but also sends a dangerous signal to the public and the international community about the values this government upholds. He added that at a time when Nigeria is battling insecurity, moral decline, and rising drug-related offenses, it was both shocking and indefensible for the presidency to prioritize clemency for individuals who have undermined national stability and social order. This is the same Atiku Abubakar, by the way, that is advocating for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's just the is the lack of any consistency in anything. So what moral guidance guides this sort of indignation, but also lends itself to releasing Nnamdi Kanu? So where is the balance? So This is the thing that the guy is just it lacks there's no core substance within somebody like Atiku. It's just a fair weather. Anywhere it blows, I blow with it. He thinks it's a chancer, but it's not because he's been chanced. Atiku described as particularly worrying the revelation that about 29.2% of those pardoned were convicted for drug-related crimes, noting that the move was insensitive to the nation's struggle against narcotics and the vulnerability of Nigerian youth. Even more disturbing, he said, is the moral irony that this act of clemency comes from a president whose past remains clouded by unresolved issues relating to the forfeiture of thousands of dollars to the United States government over drug-related investigations. So obviously that was I knew he was the whole thing is just the window to make that comment. Um, the former vice president noted that a presidential pardon should symbolize restitution and moral reform, not mockery of justice. What we have witnessed is a mockery of the criminal justice system, an affront to victims, a demoralization of law enforcement, and a grave injury to the conscience of the nation, he said. Clemency must never be confused with complicity. When a government begins to absolve offenders of the very crime it claims to be fighting, it erodes the moral authority of leadership and emboldens lawlessness. Nigeria deserves a leadership that upholds justice, not one that trivializes it. So that's Article's take then on the Tinubu clemency list. So one of the highlighted spaces of that clemency list was, as I already hinted at, the pardoning of Mariam Sanda, who pied her husband. I appealed to Buhari Tinubu to pardon Mariam Sanda, father of Mariam's pied husband, says and gives reasons. So I think there's actually a clip to that end. So let's see if we can just watch the clip rather than all right. Let's watch the clip rather than me having to read it out. So let's see what he has to say. The I was going to call him the Aboki, but he lost his son, so let's not call him names. Oh, where is it? I thought there was a clip here. Where is the clip? Yeah, all right. It should give us a clip now. Where is the clip? And I saw the clip earlier. I just chose not to download it because I thought I'd play it along with this. I thought I'd play it along with this readout. Oh, all right. Is it tucked away somewhere there? Oh, okay. Let's just read it then. So this is the father of the man pied by Miriam Sanda, the father of Miriam Sanda's husband, who she pied. I appealed to Buhari Aunt Tinubu to pardon Miriam Sanda, father of Miriam Sanda's pied husband, says and gives reasons. The biological father of the late Biliaminu Bello, who was pied by his wife Miriam Sanda in 2017, expressed joy on Wednesday, October the 14th, over the pardon granted to his daughter-in-law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In an unexpected turn of events, Bello's father said he had been making attempts behind the scene to secure the freedom of Miriam, who had been on death row since her sentencing for the pieing of her husband. Speaking at a joint press conference with Alhaji Gaba Sanda, father of Mariam, Alhaji Ahmed Bello Isa stated that his motivation was purely humanitarian and that he wanted his daughter-in-law released so she could look after her two young children, and that executing her would not bring back his son. He explained that, as a devout Muslim, he had long accepted the tragic event, which uh, has been a subject of public discussion, choosing to forgive and leave judgment to Allah. He said he had previously written to both the then Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and Commissioner of Police, FCT, to seek clemency for Mariam Sanda. Although those early appeals went unanswered, the recent pardon granted by President Tinubu under the presidential prerogative of mercy finally brought his request to fruition. In a letter he wrote seeking pardon for Mariam, one letter he wrote seeking pardon for Mariam, dated December the 16th, 2024, titled Request for Exercise of Prerogative of Mercy for my daughter-in-law Mariam Sanda, sentenced to death by hanging. He confirmed reports that some family members objected to his forgiveness and petition for clemency, saying he understood that people will hold different opinions on such a sensitive matter, but as both a father and a Muslim, he believes this was the best course of action for peace and humanity. So, if anybody knows the backstory of that Mariam Sanders something, you can maybe because I thought it was an abusive husband, and then she had no other. I wouldn't say she didn't have a choice, but she was in an abusive relationship by my memory, and that's what led to what happened to the husband. IMF raises Nigeria's 2025 growth forecast to 3.9 to 4.2 in 2026. So, some people will cry to bed in the way things are going. All they want is for that country to fail, so that that opens a window for them in 2027. But alas, Tinubu told us he knows the will, and it looks as though he may well do. IMF raises Nigeria's 2025 growth forecast to 3.9 to 4.2% in 2026. The International Monetary Fund IMF has upgraded Nigeria's economic growth projection, forecasting a 3.9 expansion in 2025 and 4.2% in 2026. The revised figures were announced on Tuesday during the launch of the World Economic Outlook 2025 at the ongoing World Bank and IMF annual meetings in Washington, D.C. In its July 2025 update, the IMF had projected Nigeria's growth at 3.4%, but the latest report reflects a 0.5% point increase, signaling renewed confidence in the country's reform-driven economic recovery. Also, the IMF projected that the Nigerian economy will grow by 4.2% in 2026, an improvement from 3.2% predicted in July. The fund's updated projection places Nigeria ahead of South Africa, but slightly below the broader sub-Saharan African regional average. According to the report, South Africa's growth forecast was raised marginally from 1.0% to 1.1% for 2025. So there it says. So what are the reasons? Higher oil output, investor confidence, and fiscal reforms are key drivers for improved outlook. Our global growth projected at 3.2%. So Nigeria is outstripping the global average, is what that tells us. More insights. According to the IMF, emerging economies and developing economies are projected to grow just above 4% during the same period. Global inflation is forecast to so anyway, I think we get the drift of that. So let's go on from that to another one. Let's go on from that to another one. Which one are we going to? Oh, let's not go to. Should we go to this lunatic woman? Oh, do I want to do this? Uh, this woman, it once you enter that space, you are never able to come out. That's just the thing. Your friend, not mine. I'm talking about Natasha Akpoti. Your friend, not mine. I think I need a sip of water before I go into Natasha, and that even came out wrong. I don't want to go into Natasha. She's too old. She's probably broadly in my age bracket, and you don't really want to be dating anybody that falls within that demography. Uh, drama in Senate as senators refuse to second Senator Natasha's amendment of a bill. So there it is right there. So they're giving her the cold shoulder as she turns that as she's trying to turn that place into yet another skit something. A mild drama ensued in the Senate today, October the 4th. Okay, yes, it was today. So I'm now in tomorrow, but yes, a mild drama ensued in the Senate today, October the 14th, after Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan called for an amendment of a motion that considered the abuse of the rights of Nigerian immigrants in Libya. The Senate had a robust debate on the motion earlier today. During the deliberation, Senator Natasha called on the Senate to look into the plight of Nigerian women in Libyan prisons. She stated that Nigerian women were being incarcerated in Libyan prisons, have been converted to sex slaves solely to satisfy the urges of the prison warders. She said many of the female prisoners now have children they are taken care of in prison. He called on the Red Chamber to mandate the Immigration Service to liaise with the Libyan authorities to have such women repatriated. Also making her input, after making her input, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio called for any of her colleagues to second her motion. None of them, including the female senators, stood up to second her motion. The awkwardness lingered for a moment until the Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele stood up to save the day. So I think we actually have a clip of that. So maybe we can actually say this. So let's watch this.
Additional prayer, yes.
Uduaghan representing the people of Kogi Central. I do have an additional prayer that the Nigerian Immigration and Prison Services should liaise with the Libyan prisons to repatriate Nigerian female prisoners who birthed children in prisons. This is born out of the fact that numerous Nigerian women who were sex trafficked to Libya and happened to escape the unworthy, unhuman situations were arrested and detained in the Libyan prisons, and they are being used to satisfy the sexual urges of the prison warders and prison officials. It is a fact that many of our Nigerian women who found themselves in the Libyan prisons are pregnant, and many have given birth to children who live in the prisons. So I would appreciate the chambers and my colleagues do approve this so that children, innocent children who are of Nigerian heritage do not suffer with their innocent mothers, that they be brought back to Nigeria. Thank you.
Let me pause it there for a moment. It's just, I don't like to slam this woman, and I don't really like to bring her stories up, but she's a very low IQ sort of a woman. First, she's inviting which service is she inviting again? She's inviting the immigration service to liaise with the Libyan authorities. So the immigration service is a state facility within the Nigerian structure. It has nothing to do with Libya. As somebody rightly points out in the comment section, it's a matter for the Foreign Affairs Ministry, because that's our outward facing ministry. So the immigration service is an inward facing ministry and their influence is within the parameters of Nigeria, but the foreign service is the one that faces outside, and that's where the liaison, that's why the liaison takes place. So that's one. And then she's saying that all these children are of Nigerian heritage. They are not of Nigerian heritage now. If the people forcing themselves on these girls, they are Libyan prisoner, they are Libyan prison warders, then they are Libyans, not Nigerians. So I'm not quite sure how they are of Nigerian heritage.
Immigration and prison services to liaise with the Libyan prisons to repart.
Sorry, let's take that again.
Uduaha, representing the people of Kogi Central. I do have an additional prayer that the Nigerian Immigration and Prison Services should liaise with the Libyan prisons to repatriate Nigerian female prisoners who birthed children in prisons. This is born out of the fact that numerous Nigerian women who were sex trafficked to Libya and happened to escape the unworthy, unhuman situations were arrested and detained in Nigeria, in the Libyan prisons, and they are being used to satisfy the sexual urges of the prison warders and prison officials. It is a fact that many of our Nigerian women who found themselves in the Libyan prisons are pregnant, and many have given birth to children who live in the prisons. So I would appreciate the chambers and my colleagues do approve this so that children, innocent children who are of Nigerian heritage do not suffer with their innocent mothers, that they be brought back to Nigeria. Thank you. Immigration and prison services to liaise with the Libyan prisons to repatriate Nigerian female prisoners who birthed children in Libyan prisons.
How can the Nigerian prisons have you know that's why Akpabio is asking, is incredulous as to what he's hearing. Why would the Nigerian prison service be liaising with the prison service in she doesn't even understand anything or how anything works. What's the protocol? What's the precedence for that?
All right. Any seconder? Any seconder? Yes, seconder, the leader of the Senate.
To second the additional prayer as most ably moved by distinguished Senator Natasha.
Repeat the additional prayer so that people understand.
You see, he wants to mock her right there. That look at this ridiculous woman. Nigerian prison service should be liaising with Libya. Can you imagine that? And she calls herself a lawyer.
Well, Mr. President, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues,
the additional prayer.
I know at all times and not
the additional prayer is.
Additional prayer, please.
Additional prayer, yes.
Uduaha, representing the people of Kogi Central. I do have an additional.
All right. So that loops back. So just it's a gift that just keeps on giving. The ridiculousness of that Natasha Akpoti Uduagan. But before we go on to the next one, let me just quickly address this comment by Ayo right here. I think it's joshing with Ola. So I think Ola made a comment that TINUBU'S, let me see, where's the comment? I think Ola made a comment. It says TINUBU'S 2039. So that is that which is somewhat joking and nodding towards Obasanjo's third term agenda. And Ayo retorted. He says Ola lie she Paul Biya when it's not Paul Biya. So I'm only really highlighting that because curiously, coincidentally, I have a Paul Biya clip to play you. So this is somewhat in the broader regions of what Ayo and Ola are talking about.
Here is a picture of the Senegalese president, the prime minister, and the president of National Assembly. Welcome to Cameroon. The president is 92 years old. The president of Senate is 91 years old. The head of National Assembly is 85 years old. The Director General of National Security is 93 years old. The President of Constitutional Council is 88 years old. The Minister of Justice is 84 years old. People should go. It's okay. It's okay now. Leave it like that. People should just go. Go. Leave us so. Leave us so. Leave us so. Leave us so. I said I'm not going to cry in this video. I'm not going to cry. Election is tomorrow. Dear Cameroonian youths, it is time for us to make a change. This generation is different. We have to make a change. It is too much. One president for my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my father, me, my son, and you're planning to rule my grandchildren? No! We need change. Even as Emo Satan, maybe president, I beg. Let there be change. We need change. We need change. I beg. People should go. It's okay. It's okay now. Leave it like that. People should just go.
It's quite shocking, actually. It's quite shocking. The what really struck me out of that list I read out, the head of their national security is a 94-year-old man. Not that Nigeria is any recommendation, but the how long? Let's actually yes, I brought out that Google page. I want to find out how long, because the guy said the guy was president over his grandfather. I know he was only being somewhat facetious, elaborate with language, but how long has Paul Biya been president? Okay, he took over in 1982. So that will make him the president for how long? That's just he said he took over in 1982. Incumbent Paul Biya since the 6th of November 1982. Resident in Yaoundé. Is not resident in Yaoundé anyways. Resident in Switzerland. Appointer elected. Term length 7 years renewable. So oh my God. So that's Paul Biya. Then he's been the president since 1982. 1982 to 92. That's a decade. 92 to 2002. That's 2 decades. 2002 to 2002 to 2012. That's 3 decades. 2012 to 2022. That guy has been the president of that country going on 50 years. So that guy is not far off it when he says he's been the president for his father, his great grandfather, and everybody in between. But there it is right there. 43 years. That's Nigerian man doing the math right there. Imagine that. Imagine that. Even Nigerian man is not up to 43. But there it is right there. Do you remember that guy from Cameroon that used to come on this platform and insult us, telling us Tinubu this, Tinubu that? There is his president, a 96-year-old man. They send for the elections. It of course it's never going to campaign. He just sent a picture. That's all he did. He just sent a picture. That used this picture to campaign for me. So now the headline piece. David Umahi finally comes out with the figure that Rufai Oseni'S and his Man Friday, the Oyo State Governor, Sheyi Makinde. So Dave Umahi finally comes out with the answer to the question that Rufai Oseni'S and his Man Friday, Sheyi Makinde, has been pushing him for. Nigeria's David Umahi reveals 7.5 billion naira per kilometer cost for Lagos Calabar Highway. Nigeria's Minister of Works, David Umahi, disclosed during a media briefing that the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway costs 7.5 billion naira per kilometer, covering the 1.06 trillion naira budget for the initial 47.47 kilometer section, featuring 6 lanes carriageway, flyovers, and shore protection. The full 700 kilometers project across 9 states aims to connect coastal communities and add $47 billion to Nigeria's GDP over 5 years. Umahi defended the figure as reasonable compared to prior projects and invited audits amidst public criticism over the high cost in a nation facing poverty. There is no public criticism, or it's just Rufai Oseni'S rebel rousing. So now, so I brought you the data for the poorest countries in the world. So that's the data. That was what we opened with, which tells us then extreme poverty by country. Nigeria not on the list. So let me bring you a different set of data. The fastest growing economies in the world. Our fastest growing economies in 2025. So these are the fastest. So this one will go like a dagger into the heart of the obedient space, of course, because they don't want any progress for that country. And the source is the IMF. So the fastest growing economy in the world is India, followed by China. Saudi Arabia comes next. And guess who's number 4? The fourth, we've always been saying that the Nigerian economy is outperforming the United Kingdom economy and even the United States economy, and that's the data coming out of the IMF. The fastest growing economy is India, followed by China, and then Saudi Arabia, and then of course the reforms of TINUBU places Nigeria at number 4. Spain, Brazil, United States, Russia, Canada, United Kingdom, South Africa, and Japan, they complete the list. So Nigeria is the 4th fastest growing economy globally, not in Africa, globally. So there's that. Drama in Senate. Senators ignore motion by Natasha Akpoti. So we've just now gone past that. So let me now bring you this one. I'm not quite sure how I am positioned on this one. I'm not quite sure if I agree or disagree. But if you have any thoughts on it, please either in the comment section or come into the studio. Federal government removes mathematics from requirement for art students seeking university admission. So I think the minimum was that you should have a minimum of a pass in mathematics before you can access tertiary education, even polytechnics. And I've always wondered, if you are going there to study Yoruba or French or philosophy or whatever, or English, what then do you require mathematics for? And I think the government somewhat agrees with that. Federal government removes mathematics from requirement for art students seeking university admission. The federal government has announced that mathematics will no longer be a compulsory subject for students seeking admission into tertiary institutions to study arts and humanities related courses. So if you want to be a lawyer, you don't really need mathematics. The new policy unveiled on Tuesday by the Federal Ministry of Education applies to entry requirements for universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and innovation enterprise institutions across the country. According to a statement signed by the ministry spokesperson, Folashade Boriowo, the revised national guideline for entry requirements into Nigerian tertiary institutions aims to eliminate unnecessary barriers whilst maintaining academic standards. The revised national guidelines for entry requirements into Nigerian tertiary institutions are designed to remove barriers whilst maintaining academic standards. The new framework applies to universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and innovation enterprise academies across the country as follows. University, minimum of 5 credit passes in relevant subjects, including English language, obtained in not more than 2 sittings. Mathematics is mandatory for science, technology, and social sciences courses. Polytechnics. I thought they had cancelled polytechnics in Nigeria. I didn't think, because I think they have. I know that. Did they not give Yaba Tech University status recently, or am I mistaken? I thought they had cancelled the polytechnic system in Nigeria. I beg your pardon, just having a sip of water there. Let's take that from top again, actually. Federal government removes mathematics from requirement for arts from requirement for art students seeking university admission. The federal government has announced that mathematics will no longer be a compulsory subject for students seeking admission into tertiary institutions to study arts and humanities related courses. The new policy, unveiled on Tuesday by the Federal Ministry of Education, applies to entry requirements for universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and innovation enterprise institutions across the country. According to the statement signed by the ministry spokesperson, Folashade Boriowo, the revised national guideline for entry requirements into Nigerian tertiary institutions will eliminate unnecessary barriers whilst maintaining academic standards. The revised national guideline for entry requirements into Nigerian tertiary institutions are designed to remove barriers whilst maintaining academic standards. The new framework applies to universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and innovation enterprise academies across the country as follows. University, minimum of 5 credit passes in relevant subjects, including English language, obtained in not more than 2 sittings. Mathematics is mandatory, not compulsory as well. Still, mathematics is mandatory for science, technology, and social sciences courses. Polytechnics, national diploma level, minimum of 4 credit passes in relevant subjects, including English language for non-science courses and mathematics for science-related programs. Polytechnic HND level, minimum of 5 credits in relevant subjects, including English language and mathematics. So that doesn't put a qualifier there for the polytechnics, unless is this a mistype? Colleges of education, NCE level, minimum of 4 credits in relevant subjects, with English language mandatory for art and social science courses, and mathematics required for science, vocational, and technical programs. The statement reads in part. So, do you agree, disagree that that mathematics should be taken off as a compulsory subject? So we're getting towards the end of the readout. So if anybody wants to come in, come in. I'll send the link again. It's all down to you. If you want to come in, then you come in and we have the conversation. Let me send the link again. There's the link right there. Hold on. Let me just un momento, por favor. Un momento, por favor. Un momento, por favor. 1 minute, please. That means un momento, por favor. Un momento, por favor. Give me 1 second. Let me just do something quickly. Pardon me. Let me just do something quickly. Oh, all right. Okay. All right. So let's go on from that to the next one. Peter Obi supporters spark controversy over call for videos on Christian persecution. So that this is who was that senator in the United States that was somewhat spinning some yarn. A recent social media post by Sarah Ibrahim, a supporter of Peter Obi, has generated criticism after she encouraged followers to push out more videos that shows alleged persecution of Christians in Nigeria. So this still wraps around the Peter Obi narrative of church take your country back. So that's somewhat it's still they're still playing much very much that politics of ethnicity and religion, the Peter Obi space. Peter Obi supporters sparks controversy over call for videos on Christian persecution. A recent social media post by Sarah Ibrahim, a supporter of Peter Obi, has generated criticism after she encouraged followers to push out more videos that shows alleged persecution of Christians in Nigeria. She connected her message to the 2027 elections, suggesting that certain states in the Middle Belt don't want Christians to vote. The post has sparked debate online, with some accusing Ibrahim of spreading content that could inflame religious tensions. One user commented, it's now clear where the narrative came from. Part of the Church Take Your Country Back campaign. Experts caution that presenting national issues in religious terms could worsen division and threaten peace and unity ahead of the next election cycle. So that's Peter Obi as ever playing ethnic politics and religious politics. So now this now is the last one. Then I'll play you some clips and then we'll see if anybody turns up. Homeless people in the world. So as I just showed you now that Nigeria is the fastest growing economy. As ever, Nigeria always a dichotomous. What is that dichotom? A dichotomy. There's a lot of dichotomy in the Nigerian situation. For every yin, there's a yang in Nigeria. Homeless people across the world. So Pakistan has 8 million homeless people, Bangladesh 5 million, Afghanistan 4,660,000, and Nigeria 4.5 million people are homeless. So as a percentage of a near 280, an approximate 280 million people, would you say that is unreasonable, or is that reasonable? Is that within the realms of what the expectations will be? I think I'll just leave it at Nigeria. Philippines has the same number of homeless people. Yemen 3.8 million people. So, and you have to think of these numbers as a percentage of the overall population of these countries. Yemen 3.8 million, Somalia nearly 3 million, Sudan 2.7 million, uh, China only actually has 2.6, approximately 2.6 million people homeless. You'd have thought with a population that size, 2 million in Egypt, 1.7 million in India, South Sudan 1.5, Congo 1.5, Iraq 1.2, Zimbabwe 1.2, Cameroon 1 million approximate, and then it goes into six figures. Going. How many people do they have in the United Kingdom? Let's see if the UK is there. Where's it? 380,000 people are homeless in the UK. Is the United States there? Let's see. What's the number for the United States? I mean, there's a heavy homeless problem in the United States. I'm not quite sure why we don't see them here, but so that's just a bit of statistical nonsense for you there. All right. So that's the readout. I'll play you the clips. Let me send the link again. I suspect this may well be one of those sessions where nobody turns up. We see how that goes. Let me send the link again. Let's cast that net, see what it draws in. Let me play you the clips that we have. Let's go. Which clips do we have? Oh, so now, let me start it off with this one. So most of you will remember this.
Lawmakers led by Senator Enyinaya Abaribe visiting the Lagos Trade Fair complex alongside former presidential candidate Peter Obi on Tuesday. Their mission is to assess the recent demolition of structures that has left traders agitated. According to Peter Obi, the timing of the demolition is very painful and the destruction of the structures could have been avoided with proper engagement.
This is not a time, considering how difficult things are in this country.
So that was Peter Obi then going to attack Sanwo-Olu in Lagos State for reasons of him demolishing illegal structures at the trade fair complex. So that was Peter Obi. You know, it has now subsequently emerged that Peter Obi owned about 200 units in that market. So he was even acting out of self-interest. So all of you will remember that. But are any of you aware of this one? Is anybody aware of this one? This now next one. So what you are looking at there is the demolition of the business premises of a guy called Ola of Lagos. So that's the demolition of it right there. So we are not seeing Peter Obi in protestation for reasons that the guy is called Ola, not Chinedu. If that building had been a building named Chinedu of Lagos, all hell would have broken loose. They'll be all over the social media spaces, just howling at the moon and acting like barbarians. So you see the polar opposite of it right there. So if Peter Obi does become president, then we will know that he's only going to govern for his own people, because even in his opposition politics is only really agitating for its own people. But you are aware of the Obi protest in the trade fair complex, but you are not aware of that Ola of Lagos's building was demolished, all for the same reason. So it was either it didn't conform with regulations in one way or the other. But I play you those two only to play you this clip, which gives you a more expansive explanation as to why Ola of Lagos's premises was demolished.
So on the Ola of Lagos demolition yesterday, a couple of people reached out wanting to know my opinion on the issue. Even though what happened there was very clear. I mean, this was my response to one of the inquiries. The reason I didn't speak on it was because I don't want to create this impression that I'm always defending Lagos State. Because that's what some people say. Oh, he's always defending Lagos State. Oh, he wants to benefit something from them. And it's rubbish. Even though, I mean, to me, I just try to present you the facts. You cannot choose to blame Lagos State or blame the people involved. But at least, this is the fact of the matter. On this Ola of Lagos case, the CEO of one of the companies involved has come out to clear the air, and I really respect him for what he did. You can check his Instagram page, Elvis Abuyeri. First of all, he cleared it that Ola of Lagos doesn't own that car stand, that the car stand belongs to him. Ola of Lagos was under him, right? And he now went ahead to release the approvals that he got for that property. So if you look at it, it says provisional permit for allied trade. Anytime you see provisional, it means temporary, for the meantime, pending something else. Let's go into the terms and conditions. The parcel of land is to be used for automobile workshop or allied use only. No structure made of bricks is allowed on the subject site. Your operations must enhance the safety of lives and property in the area. Safety nets must be installed below the power line cables for preventive measures. So yes, you can use here temporarily for this specific use. However, you must put safety nets so that in case this cable fall whatever, you people are safe. Please, the videos you saw yesterday, did you see safety nets under the cables? The allotted parcel of land is not transferable. You cannot give it to somebody else. The allotted parcel of land for the payment of above stated annual ground rent does not amount to ownership of same. Who sold the land to them? Who gave them approval? Nobody owned that land. It was lease. You cannot buy that. That land is never for sale. It's only lease. You can only lease it. That for overriding public interest, the approval can be terminated by the state government within 1 month notification period. So Lagos State can terminate this their approval, but they will be giving 1 month notice. Now we don't know whether Lagos State gave them notice. I believe they did, but you can see this is the approval. He posted it. Many other people, they will just withhold this thing and allow the public say whatever nonsense they want to say. I really, really respect him for it. You can go to his page. There are like 3 of the approvals he posted there. So please, always seek to know the truth. Just don't fall for sensationalism.
All right. So that's that. So that one went quietly under the radar for reasons I say Yoruba guy. But the next demolition that involves the southeasterners, of course, you can expect Peter Obi on a street near you. So Peter Obi on a street near you. From Obi, let's pivot to Showore and Wale Ednut. And this guy, he has a particular nuance on the sort of politics that are especially Shore, and by extension, make no mistake, have no equivocation. Tunde Ednut or Wale Ednut or whatever his name is, the Ednut guy is not a blogger, is a politician, and this guy opens up that narrative.
If at this point you still see Tunde Ednut and Omoyele Shore as bloggers and activists, I am sorry to say you are one of their victims. These are opposition politicians and confucianists relentlessly putting effort to misguide Nigerians, to make them lose trust in the recovery process of our economy under President Tinubu. Now, I saw this on Tunde Ednut's page. It says, Nigeria's debt hits 152.4 trillion naira under Tinubu, rises by 3 trillion naira in 3 months. And his source is Sarah Reporters. That's Shore's blog. But let's expose the mind games and the confusion behind this. Truly, Nigeria's debt increased by 3 trillion naira in the last 3 months. No doubt about that. But this is it. You see, any money Nigeria borrows, we don't borrow in naira, we borrow in dollars. Now, they looked at it, they say, if we tell these people, say, we borrow this amount in dollars, which in dollars, this amount is just about 2 billion plus, about $2.4 billion. If we say Nigeria borrow about $2.4 billion, people no go really reason them. Now, let's convert this money to naira. And when we convert it to naira with our exchange rate of over 1,500, people will say, Tinubu won't finish Nigeria with debt. Now, they converted it to naira and they got that figure of 3 trillion naira. First, let's get something straight. You see this naira now that is over 1,500 to $1. Naira did not lose its value under President Tinubu. No, naira has lost its value long time. But when past administrations come on board, they will say, if we announce to Nigerians that naira has lost so much value, they will look at us like, these people don't even know how to manage the economy. So they thought of what they could do and they resorted to dollar padding. So every month they pad the dollar and make it look like our naira still has value. And every year Nigeria is losing money in billions of dollars just to pad dollar and make it look like our currency has value. And when foreign investors look at us, they'll say, that is Nigeria. They have the population, they have the market. Let's go and invest there. So when they come, they'll see our value as at before President Tinubu came in, 460 to 465. To $1. Okay, let's go and invest there. When they come to invest in Nigeria, they make this money at this rate. They take
all right. So that's Omoyele and Tunde Ednut playing fast and loose with fact and truth. So that's Yele and Tunde Ednut playing fast and loose with facts and truth. Tinubu is working. Tinubu is working. Tinubu is not working. Tinubu is not working. You be the judge.
Sokoto Badagry Super Highway is the legacy project. See, I'm now want to show you all the bloggers, but they're not going to show you this one. All the projects where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu don't do so far. Now, legacy project. Do you know what it means by connecting Semeboda to Nigeria? No, this is connecting Africa. I'm going to show you this video because they'll not show you. Do you know what we mean by legacy project? Project where our children go still come benefit. Now, project where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu they do be that. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is taking Nigeria to the future. Watch this video and share this video.
The second legacy project, the Sokoto Badagry Superhighway. This superhighway passes through Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos states. In Kebbi state, from Challenge 120 to 177, work is currently ongoing, with 40 kilometers of land cleared and compacted to sub-base from Challenge 137 to 177.
So yes, another cost per kilometer argument loading up, coming to a TV station near you. Cost per kilometer, Minister, how much is the cost per kilometer? So we go on from that to the next one. This one, next one here is your babe, not mine. Your babe, not mine, who is about to be debabed. I'm talking about Kemi Badenoch, and they seem to be calling time on her. Enough is enough, says the Brits.
Hello, good afternoon. We start with breaking news. An exclusive YouGov polling for Sky News shows half of all Conservative members think Kemi Badenoch should not lead the party into the next election. The poll found just 46% think that the current Tory leader should stay in place when the country next goes to vote, while 50% say she should not. Instead, the Shadow Justice Secretary, Robert Jenrick, currently has the most support when it comes to leading the party, enjoying a 7% lead over Kemi Badenoch. The results of the poll also show a pessimistic outlook when it comes to the next election, with only 14% of members expecting to win a majority and 34% predicting the party will finish second. Finally, nearly two-thirds of Conservative Party members say that they would support an electoral pact with reform. Well, let's bring in our chief political correspondent, John Craig. John, lots to dig into there. Well, let's start with Kemi Badenoch, first of all. Not good reading for her today.
These findings are brutal for Kemi Badenoch as she leads her party in her first conference as Conservative Party leader. And they do reflect, actually, a mood of gloom amongst particularly members of Parliament here who think that they are in deep trouble and facing a possible near wipeout by Reform UK at the next general election. So, for Mrs Badenoch, only 46% think she should stay in place. 50% say she shouldn't. 49% think she'll be out before the election. 47%, so pretty evenly split, think she will be in place. Now, that's that's one big finding here. You've mentioned Robert Jenrick. 46% pick him as their choice for leader. 39%.
So there it is right there, Kemi Badenoch. There's no part of me that thinks that she will make it to the ballot in 2027. So now we go on from that to the next one. So a lot of you have been watching in utter amazement the whirlwind of development taking place in Lagos State. Intercity rail service, roads being expanded, new national theatres, and even state-owned theatres, the Randall Center, all of these things, project after project after project. Those projects have been so impressive that the rest of the world are now paying attention. We had Dirty December, just December gone, and we're having Dirty December coming up this December again. And sandwiched between that Dirty December, we just had an aquatic Formula One race take place in Lagos barely 6 weeks ago. So that's the shape of development in Lagos State. But what does development look like in other parts of the country? Why don't we go to Abia State and take a sample?
Imagine, as in Aba Pebble, the Aba with the water fountain water. Never Walaya. But I love it, you have actually surprised them. It's battle. Imagine.
And there it is right there. Igimu Jinosori. Igimu Ojinosori. Igimu is Gino from the Ori. Look, that's what constitutes. That's a they declared a public holiday for that water fountain. You know, in Abia State, they do a water fountain which some councillor in some obscure local government in Lagos would do, and nobody will pay attention. But they declared a public holiday for the governor. That's what they mean when they tell us that Alex Otti is working. A water fountain. That is what constitutes development. I've been saying other Nigerians or other Nigerians that they should be made to take out a visa before they come into Lagos and to state just the length of time that they'll be spending in Lagos. And anybody coming to Lagos for the first time should not be allowed to stay more than 3 months. Sorry now, look at what they are parading as development in Abia State, declaring a public holiday to open a water fountain. But there it is right there. Igimu is Gino from the Ori. Igimu Gino, sorry. Let's go on from that to another one. This one will cut like a dagger through the heart of the opposition space. This now next piece right here will pierce like a dagger through the heart of the opposition space. What's this?
My name is Adebowale Odutola. I'm the chairman of Elanvat Nigeria Limited. So today we're making history in Nigeria. We have investors who love Nigeria and have come. They're investing about $300 billion in various sectors of the economy. Aviation, infrastructure, oil and gas, mining, and name it. So why are they here? They're from Qatar. And they said to us, they said, before the World Cup in their country, investors were coming in, they were also investing. After the World Cup, there was nothing to invest in again. So the investments they had done over the years already has returns. They have a return on equity. So now they want to come to Nigeria, to Africa, and Nigeria is the latest bride. And I quote them, if you do not invest in Nigeria, between now and the next 10 years, you're locked out.
And for the international community coming at this time, it shows that the government is doing something right. And opportunities are being created for the benefit of mankind.
We Future Union International Company. We have 10 branches in Africa and Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Oman. We under umbrella 60 companies for all sector. Already chairman Sheikh Abdul Rahman Al Thani from Qatar.
Nigeria, under the patronage of Her Excellency and the Prince Kazim. Thank you very much for your kind hospitality, and hopefully very soon we will do a huge collaboration in your country.
A lot of opportunities like extending for airports, set up airlines, infrastructure, gas, construction, cities. There is a lot of opportunities to do. So investment, it is here.
Okay, so for the very first time in a long while, we're having investors, foreign investors, buying into Nigeria economy. They now feel safe now to play in our economy. If you've been following, before this administration came on board, Nigeria reputation when it comes to foreign investment is, comme ça, especially when you look at their inability to repatriate their funds back.
It's been a long time since I last heard that phrase, comme ci, comme ça. Comme ci, comme ça, look at that 400 billion, or is it 400 billion that she said, being pumped in by the Arabs, but still the naysayers, they're still talking about the presidential jet, and the renovated vice presidential villa. That's going to be the Peter Obi campaign pillars, by the way. It's going to hinge all of his politics on the on his campaign for 2027 on the presidential jet and the vice presidential villa. So there it is. That's even if he has a party to straddle. But then, of course, Tinubu. The reason why Tinubu is so successful as the president is because he came in prepared. He had a plan already, and that plan is what is playing out now. All of these things that Tinubu is doing now, he's been talking about them for decades on end, even long before he declared himself that he wants to run. Even before, long before he declared his intention to run for president, he'd been talking about most of these things now that is now actualizing and is putting into is actualizing. So he's long been talking about these things, and he's long had a plan and a team. So now this next clip that I'm about to play you now is a TINUBU clip, and this is him speaking pre the elections. This was long before he became president, but this is to indicate to you that this guy had long had a plan.
We still have to be able to pay for good roads. We want the good roads. They are expensive. We cannot fund it alone. We have to establish long-term money for long-term projects. We have to look at fiscal policy and separate that from monetary policy. We have to get an headmaster like Cardoso. Where is he? You see there? So don't run away. To be persistent. You can't pass a sheet of paper through him unless you have a budget head for it. Then there's no head. Then we name him headmaster. The job he did for Lagos State with him, Wale Edun and others, and Dele Alake, Oshia, was great. I was not alone. I was with a great team, unbreakable team. And I promise you that team.
So that's TINUBU. Everything that is doing now is are things that he had long spoken about and long planned. So we go on now to the last clip. So here is an obedient take on TINUBU'S tax reform. So here is an obedient coming out to speak to the TINUBU tax reforms that is going to come into play as early as October, November, as early as 3 months. So in 3 months' time, the new tax bill will come into effect. And here is an obedient take on that space.
You see this new tax policy that TINUBU is coming out with. I personally support it, and I support it for one reason. I want us to start paying tax in this country. Maybe that will be the time we start taking things like politics serious in this country. That will be the time we start taking, because the way we treat politics that like is a joke, the way we treat economics in this country like is a joke, like it doesn't concern us, because the money being squandered, the money being played with in this country is not coming out of our pocket. It is our general money from oil and other natural resources that God has blessed Nigeria with. But I believe, like it was done in About Women's Riot in the 1920s, I believe that once we start paying tax and politicians start squandering that tax to buy properties abroad, send their children away, use the money to be chasing girls, university girls all over the place, squandering that money, I believe that once we start seeing that thing happen from the money that we are paying from the suffer we will suffer, from our business and everywhere, with that time, let me see if we will not ask questions. All these people that are doing that don't care, especially in this our Libo. Every election, people who will leave election will not vote. They will go and be playing football at the main road. You understand? Turnout for voting is the lowest in Alibo in the last election. So maybe once they start squandering that your tax, let me see if you will not talk by that time. That change will want for Nigeria. It will come by fire by force. So I support TINUBU. Even if he likes, collect 100% tax. Maybe they pay him. That way our people will wake up, because that is the only thing that will wake an average Nigerian up, especially an Igbo person up. When you start putting hand inside their money, that time we start holding the government accountable. Local government, state government, federal government. So me, I support it.
So there it is right there. So that's what the obedience space are making of the tax reforms. So that's the lot. We play the Kegite music and then we see what happens after that.
Water, only water. Water, only water. Where they see ma. Water, 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 water. Only water. Where they see ma. Hapa o naido. Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Ilé sọ́dí kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ o. Chief Faila ti kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ ẹlẹ́mù rẹ o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòde ojàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dìle o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dìle o. Petrosonama ẹ̀yẹ o ó dìle o. Petrosodúnkẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dìle o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And there it is right there. Ekuko Niruagbese may death have nothing to do with us. So now that there's no one in the studio, so that gives me the window then for an early night. So thank you everyone. I'll see you around about lunchtime tomorrow.